Hey guys, Prowl1701 here, and today we are going to talk about the top 10 Doctor Who episodes that I just find unwatchable. Now, I don't mean just in general that they're unwatchable, that I personally can't go back and rewatch. As far as I'm concerned, I will never, ever, ever watch again. I just don't want to ever watch them again. And it's hard. I can't say necessarily they're bad. Most of the ones on this list are bad. But there are a couple of them that are objectively good that just for one reason or another, I don't ever want to watch again. Starting with my very first pick, which is actually the Unquiet Dead from the series one of the modern series. This is objectively a very good episode. Series one has no bad episodes, but I find this one so unnerving that I can't remember if I watched it like maybe three times. I think I've seen it three times, and it always unnerves the crap out of me. Like, make the hairs on your neck stand up. And I think it's down to the actors playing the zombies basically in it. They're so good at playing these roles that they're playing basically these reanimated corpses, but the way they look and turn and the noise they make is so inhuman that cause for some reason we do have this natural phenomenon where something that's almost human but not quite human for some reason creeps us out. It's just natural instinct, and the actors do such a good job at that, at not being human, that it just unnerves me enough I don't ever want to watch it again. So it's objectively a great episode. I'm happy never seeing it again. The next one on the list is Fear Her. This one's bad. This one is really bad. Fear Her is very terrible. Other than the line when Tennant mentions being a father once, and then Rose is kind of like, what? And he just kind of, stops talking about it. I like that little moment. Other than that, I think the episode's terrible. I think the little kid actress in it is god awful. I think the story is awful. It's just one of the reasons why series 2 is weaker than the rest of Russell's era. I think series 2 is his weakest season. Next on the list is Oxygen. I don't like Oxygen. It did a really good job of the opening teaser, basically, of getting me attached to this girl that's talking just for her to die. And I felt so bad that she died. The way they shot that scene was really cool. But I don't know, just the idea of the suits still going when you were dead, and especially at the end when he pretty much makes it an insult against capitalism. It's always down to the suits. I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. The Doctor going blind, I didn't care for. I didn't like this one. I'm happy never ever watching it again. I know a lot of people love it, and for the love of me, I can't see why. The next one on the list is the Forest of the Night. My goodness, this episode is bad. This episode is boring and long and stupid. And to be honest, I really think watching this episode is really isn't this just a slow form of committing suicide? Honestly. So whenever people are like, I want to watch that episode, I'm like, there's quicker ways to do that, less painful ways to do that. You don't have to watch the episode. It's terrible. It's so stupid. This is one of those episodes you're like, how did that get past like everybody had to get past to get made? I'd rather watch Star Trek the Motion Picture because I could stay awake through it longer. Next on the list is Love and Monsters. Because this is a bad one. Most of the time the Dr. Light episodes don't really work. Blink is kind of that rare exception. Love and Monsters is another one where it doesn't work. The Absorb-a-Lot monster is just a silly idea. Other than the fact this episode has some music by ELO in it, and I love the Electric Light Orchestra. I'm a huge fan of their music. Other than that, it's just utter crap. Skip it. Watch it once, never watch it again. The next one on the list is Turn Left, which is objectively an okay episode. It has some nice character growth for Donna, but it makes that cardinal sin of breaking up the Dr. Donna duo, which is one of the same reasons I didn't care for Midnight. I really like the Doctor and Donna together, and we don't really get that in this story. It's more about Donna. Plus, I don't believe the idea that the Doctor would have died in there if Donna hadn't been there. I think that's silly. So I don't really care for this one. And if I'm rewatching the modern series, I always skip it and go straight to the finale. I know a lot of people like Turn Left, not for me. Let's see. Listen is next. Yes, Listen. I don't like Listen. Listen is another one of those times where I think Moffat just tries to be too clever. Because when I was originally watching Listen, I liked it all the way up until the end. And then the end is so bad and stupid and terrible and awful. And it's all about Clara being such a pivotal moment of his past. Again, it's all about Clara. And I hate Clara with Capaldi. Again, nothing on Jenna. I just hate the way Clara's written with Capaldi. I really hate this episode. Plus, it has is this version of not this descendant of Danny Pink? Is he also a descendant of Clara's? And then all that ends up going nowhere. I don't know. It had such potential. It had such potential, and then the ending just craps over all of it. And I think Moffat just got too clever for his own good. I don't like it. I think I've only watched it the one time. Most episodes I will give a second chance. Not this one. Never. Next on the list is The Power of Kroll. A little bit of classic Who here. This one's awful. I love me some Tom Baker, but this is the worst Tom Baker story. This is probably the only Tom Baker story I'll never go back and rewatch. It's so bad. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind the script itself. It's a Robert Holmes script. I love me some Robert Holmes. The execution is so bad. This could be the biggest, most obvious case in Doctor Who history of a script being good or at least all right and the execution of it being so bad. That could be the difference, the biggest difference between a script and the execution of a script. Could be this story. Because I don't mind the ideas on paper. It's just that they should have known going in that Classic Who did not have the budget to realize it properly, and the end result is terrible. The creature looks bad. The people in the green makeup are very obviously in green makeup. It's abysmal. I've watched it twice, I believe. And next time I go through The Key to Time, I think I'm just going to skip it. Because it's that bad. The next one is Midnight. I'm not going to go into detail on it. I've already done a whole video talking about why I utterly hate Midnight. Now, it is another example, like I mentioned with Unquiet Dead. It is objectively a good episode. Well cast, well shot, well directed, excellent use of camera angles and lighting. Love that it has David Troughton in it. But for reasons like, for instance, I've talked about before how I don't like the fact, again, we don't have Donna and the Doctor together. This is another episode that breaks up that duo, and I would have loved to have had another episode that season instead with them interacting because I love them together in Series 4. I hate that it doesn't have that. Personally, I think Tennant's Doctor is the wrong Doctor for this episode. Basically, Midnight just needed to come a few seasons later. It would have been a great Series 8, Series 9 story. As it is, I don't like it in Series 4, and I'd rather not ever have to watch it again, personally. And number one on the list, and this probably is my actual number one. This is probably, I think, the worst episode of Doctor Who ever made. Kill the Moon. What is this? How did this get approved? How did this get made? Trust me, if someone ever asks me, what is Kill the Moon about? I'll be like, well, basically, the moon is an egg. And then it hatches. And then it leaves behind another egg that looks exactly like it. So yes, in Doctor Who canon, the moon is an egg that hatched and laid another egg moon. And I am never going to get over that to the day I die, because that's quite literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I live in America. I hear a lot of stupid things. But that probably takes the cake. Yeah, that's just, ugh. And then the Doctor doesn't act like the Doctor in it. No, that's your problem, Clara. You deal with it. I don't have the right. What? What? You're the Doctor. This episode's probably one of the reasons why I hated Capaldi for a while, especially Series 8 Capaldi. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love him in like Flatline, and I love him in Mummy of the Orient Express. But I remember when I was watching this episode when it originally aired, I was just like, this guy sucks. This guy is not the Doctor. The Doctor would not do this crap. Then it becomes all about Clara. Again. And then, of course, she has to get her little sniffly attitude with the doctor, who, granted, isn't acting like the doctor. So you have Clara being the Clara show again, and the doctor not acting like the doctor, and the moon is an egg. I don't know whoever wrote this episode, but they have a lot to answer for. Like, I don't know, did they just pull in a 5-year-old off the street and say, go at it? I do think this is the worst episode of Doctor Who ever made. I'd rather watch Midnight, and that's very telling. Anyway, this has been my top 10 list of the Doctor Who episodes that I personally find unwatchable, either objectively or for personal reasons or for both. How about you? What are your top 10 episodes or top 5 episodes or whatever of Doctor Who that you will never, ever go back and watch again? I'm curious to hear what you think. I always enjoy interacting with you guys down in the comments, so please let me know what you think. Plenty of other things to do. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, click that bell for notifications. I have started a Patreon page if you are interested in contributing to that, where you get to make video requests for things you would like to see me do. Most importantly, though, stay safe out there, and thank you for watching.